Happy Thursday and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Rocketeer Minute, where each and every day, Monday through Friday, we go over 1 minute of the greatest adventure movie Walt Disney's ever made, the 1991 Joe Johnston-directed feature, The Rocketeer. I'm one of your hosts, Jim O'Kane of TVDads.com.
And I'm Hal Bryan, an airplane nerd from the Experimental Aircraft Association here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So, Jim, here we go. Another day, another minute, and another great guest. It's a privilege once again, as it always is, to introduce the guest. And this time we've got a gentleman named Brett Stillo. And Brett, according to his bio, he loves movies. He likes to watch them, talk about them, write about them, work on them. He's got a short film called Swing Shift that maybe we'll talk about a little bit. That's was on the Lovecraft Film Festival circuit. And he's also involved in this crazy world of By the Minute podcast with 5 Minutes of Trouble. So it's a weekly podcast where they go over Big Trouble in Little China 5 minutes at a time. Now, Jim, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know we could do 5 minutes.
They're doing the Reader's Digest version. It's very enthusiastic. It's kind of the striding version of this.
The striding version.
We're not us plotters.
We have been ostracized by the Movie Minute community for being, out on the fringe.
You guys are
these 5 minutes.
Men. It's,
like your film, you'll be a cult classic.
Yeah, right? A cult classic.
Yes.
We experiment with time and space. But yes, that would be me, Brett Stillo. And
it's great to have you.
Thank you. It is an absolute blast to be here. Guys, congratulations. This is a fantastic podcast. The fact that I am on the same show with the grandson of Charles Lindbergh, though that was a few episodes back, and you have actual rocket pilots, and then there's me. So I'm honored to be here, and I too love this movie. Loved it from the day it opened. Big fan of the comic book, of course, and I'm just going to gush. Though.
Hey, gush away.
That's usually Hal's job, but you can gush all
we
you want.
pretend we have a no gushing policy. And I've heard Jim gush. Let's be fair.
I got one favor. I never hear enough of the opening theme. Could we just hear a few more seconds just of that opening theme?
Let's fit it in right here. We'll just do 10 seconds, okay? Okay, 10 should be enough, do you think? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable.
Yes. Suddenly I'm in a Stutz Bearcat drinking root beer with a sheepdog.
I keep thinking we should give everybody who's a guest, we should give them a kazoo, just so they can feel at home.
By all means. Thank you, Tom Geyer. That song just hits me where I live.
He is a stunner. He really knows what he's doing. There's people that you meet and it's like, wow, I can't get over that we have this kind of a sound for our little recording sessions.
And I swear to you, he was 100% every bit this talented when we were 8. That was the weirdest thing about it. It's like I sit down at the piano and pluck out a song with one finger, and then he uses all 30 fingers and just jams through it. It was amazing then. It's amazing now.
Was he well known for his kazoo solos then?
No, he was. He was like second chair kazoo, so piano was more his gig.
Just please tell me when he recorded it, he was wearing a straw hat and he had arm garters.
Yeah, I think along with the striped shirt.
Red
and white, yes.
I can't imagine it any other way.
No, that's the way it goes. Well, actually, we're talking, speaking of music, we're talking about, in this particular minute 69, we're still hearing Night and Day playing in the background. Great. It just perfectly set for the time.
Yeah.
And
And this is the second Cole Porter song featured in The Rocketeer.
Exactly. Yeah. It's it really fits. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I guess they couldn't fit Anything Goes because that's a different movie on another show. But it does go perfectly here. But we get the denouement for Neville as he discovers that floating little piece of cardboard, a hunk of menu, I believe, that says "Meet me by the big fish."
Yeah. Now, I have a confession to make. It's been a while since I've seen the whole movie. So coming in on this minute, I wasn't able to see the prior minute, and my first reaction is, did they have nachos back then? Something about Timothy Dalton with a nacho it didn't work for me. So
it seems a little anachronistic.
He's just he has to deal with Jenny's obsession with tomato soup. Everywhere they go, there's tomato soup for Jenny. At least she didn't spill it on this white outfit. Over back behind the big fish fountain.
Right.
Cliff is there, and he's going. He's using that great Billy Campbell line, "Scram, get out of here, Scram!" And
go on, Scram.
Yeah, beat it, knucklehead. Yeah.
Is that the first time that Scram has been used in this movie?
No, we better scram earlier on when they're going to catch that Cagney movie at the beginning.
Right.
So we better scram if we're going to catch that Cagney. And it's wrong. It really is wrong that I can remember that. Just,
you watch a movie like 187 times.
Yeah, you must know. You must know everything that Kurt Russell drops. When he's referring to his character in the third person.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I close my eyes and I see Kurt Russell.
Is he wearing lipstick or not wearing lipstick?
Wearing lipstick, of course.
Yes.
Is now a good time to point out that Kurt Russell once gave me a high five?
Ooh, do tell.
I don't know. I kind of like it better. I like the short version better.
Okay.
Out there. So he's an avid pilot, and we were. He made a quick stop just as an attendee, sort of zipping through the hall at a aviation trade show where I had a booth years and years ago, and I was milling around, and there's a crowd, and then there's suddenly it's kind of a murmur, and this guy comes sort of cruising through, and he's high-fiving a lot of people. So I look and squint, and I thought, is that really? And so, so I went to give him the high five. I almost pulled my hand away at the last minute. Said, "Ooh, safety, Jack, safety!" But it didn't
Aren't
work.
you Jeff Bridges? Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
Oh, those laconic surfer cowboy dudes from the 70s and 80s. How we love them. That is very cool that you got to high-five Kurt Russell. And I didn't know he was a pilot. That makes him even cooler in my book.
What was the movie? Was it is it Executive Decision?
Yeah.
The thing where Steven Seagal mercifully dies in the first few minutes, or appears to?
Yeah, that was. There was wild applause. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a great long shot of Kurt Russell flying a straight-tail Beach Bonanza, and you're zoomed in tight on him, and you think it's got to be on a rig or something, and then we pull back and back and back, and he's really there in the left seat of the airplane, and I think it's even his airplane.
Oh,
now,
cool.
Whether probably legally in for the underwriters of the film. He's probably got, a 20 million hour stunt pilot sitting next to him in his own airplane. It would be like, you wouldn't be allowed to drive your own car on a film. Yeah, it's probably the best part of that movie for me.
Wow. Thinking back on the whole plot, that's probably best for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, except for when Steven Seagal dies, and when you've got like 8 people climbing out of an F-117 stealth fighter. But I digress.
Give the people what they want. That's fine.
Big glove compartment in those stealth jets. Northrop designed an extra big glove compartment.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
If I can go back a minute, when I watched this minute when I reviewed it, I did a double take because there was Timothy Dalton acting all shifty, and I didn't recognize him for a split second.
Wow.
I had to say to myself, "Well, wait, who's that with the mustache?" He's so wonderfully nervous and fidgety and anxious. It's like your classic inept British villain. He's channeling David Tomlinson and Terry Thomas there.
Yeah.
You almost like you think he's going to eat that note.
Right. It's a great point. This is one of the we've seen his temper before in this movie, but we haven't really seen, and Jim, correct me if I'm missing the obvious here in my addled brain, but I don't think we've really seen him start to lose it like things are unraveling. He's been angry, he's been furious, and
well, he did
chopping up some lilies, but
that's. I was just wondering if that counted, taking out your epee and wiping out daylilies.
And that seems more like that's an expression of he's mad and he's dominating the conversation. This just looks like he's looking at this and he says he's been had. Who's this waiter guy? What's going on? I'm not in control anymore.
He had a certain script that he was following, that he was going to work on Jenny, and then all of a sudden Jenny's 2 steps ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's lost control of the narrative.
Pretty unusual for a dame in 38.
Yeah. So it's, gosh, I'm sorry. I just keep stopping on the profile of Jennifer Connelly, and it's just I forget what I was talking about.
That'll do it. Yeah, she'll do that. She was only 19 years old here.
Yeah.
Oh, the world isn't fair.
That'll make you feel old.
So and just all the I do like the random Artie Johnson look of the whole thing as they're flipping past the potted palms and stuff. He just of course for children listening to our show they might not know who Artie Johnson was, but
I was gonna say that was when I was reviewing this minute. I kept imagining Artie Johnson appearing, ideally from like right next to or Jennifer Connelly. Hello,
Yeah.
Fraulein.
Yes, exactly.
Oh gosh, yeah, Artie Johnson. For those who have not grown up as when we did and have not watched Nick at Night, they might have missed Laugh-In. He was a popular character. Artie Johnson was he would typically dress with a Nazi helmet, and he'd be smoking a cigarette and wearing wire rimmed glasses, and just would drag out his R's as he said, "Very interesting," and that. Gosh, and I feel really bad about having to explain that. I feel just. It's wounding me just trying to explain funny.
Well, there was nothing funnier in 1969 than a Nazi.
Yeah,
That was comedy gold at
Hey.
that point in our cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, we all have
the
our catchphrases.
producers with Kenneth Mars and of course
Yeah.
Hogan's Heroes. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's something about a Nazi helmet that just is comedy. Straight out, you got to start laughing. We get back to Clifford has explained to Jenny what she's got to get out and scram and beat it and all that. As he's getting out, we see Spanish Johnny and Mike, who have just arrived to talk to Neville, which at this point, this is how long it would have taken. So in the time that Clifford put on his Rocketeer costume, flew to the corner of Cherokee and Hollywood Boulevard, and undid his Rocketeer costume, put it in a bag in the laundry room, put on a waiter's costume, went out and found, served soup to Neville and Jenny, and then met Jenny behind the plants. This is how long it would have taken him to get to the South Seas Club. So we have kind of a rough timetable there.
Yeah, had he actually taken a cab like
like
we see
Lothar.
Lothar has done. And Lothar is getting out of that gorgeous 35 DeSoto.
Oh yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah.
And he's wearing that Walter White from Breaking Bad pork pie hat.
He is. But before it was cool.
Yeah. Well, he made it cool.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought of I think it's a different color, but I thought of Buster Keaton.
Yeah, but the pork pie, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. But it is amazing, we know that Tiny Ron, the ironically named Tiny Ron, is a big guy, and you see him interacting sort of one-on-one with Cliff, but there's something about this shot of him getting out of the cab where he's 1.5 times the size of everybody in view.
Yeah.
And we know Billy's a tall guy, but when you see the two of them together, you could think, well, maybe Billy's a shorter guy. Maybe he's a Johnny Depp toy poodle, which we know is not the case. But when you see him, just a group of people, and he's just
he steps out like a Coca-Cola vending machine on legs. It just kind of it's like watching a vending machine walking around.
Yeah.
And
with a very nice hat.
Yeah.
And a smashing vest.
Yeah, he does look just nice. He's well suited for October in Hollywood, I guess.
He's going to go to a party at Boris Karloff's later.
Yeah. A lot of people work for the South Seas Club. There's two guys answering the taxi, the doorman for the taxi. There's the fellow who is some kind of he's the guy holding people back for the next taxi.
Oh, right.
And then as he passes, we see some guy that looks like he looks like he just stepped off the Broadway production of Anything Goes. A doorman who's wearing some kind of a captain's helmet with a hat with scrambled eggs or something on the top.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy in like a beige dinner jacket to the left who seems to be the other doorman. So they have like 6 guys just out front to handle the crowds.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Annette Benning's older sister, maybe the hat check girl.
Oh, the hat check girl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and of course the hat on the seahorse right there.
Yeah.
Second 34 is just
didn't even leave a tip.
priceless.
And didn't get the hat check paper. So
right.
Do we know who the hat check girl is? Do we have an IMDb?
I did
name
not
for
find.
her?
Did
Because,
not
yes.
find. Oh, actually, wait. I think we do.
Fetching young lady. Fetching.
I may have to check. You talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So, how are you, Brett?
I'm okay, Hal. I'm
we'll
okay.
chat. Well, good. We'll chat while Jim Googles.
I hear the EAA's Trimotor might be visiting me sometime this fall.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Now, you're out in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah. I am in San Francisco, which
In
is
San Francisco
your
proper.
kind of your old stomping grounds when you were
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah, so you have been paying attention. Yeah, I was born
Yeah,
in San
yeah.
Mateo Hospital and grew up in Burlingame. We still have a house in Burlingame Hills in the family.
Oh, great! Still got the house. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I'm back.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
hi, Jim.
Hi.
so
after
enough about
after
the gym problem for now.
after a careful perusal of IMDb and other sources, I don't see anybody listed as we have the South Seas band leader, the South Seas mermaid, and the South Seas camera girl. But unfortunately, nobody else is listed as a person. So could possibly be the casting director, could possibly be somebody who was doing still photography, and they just said, "Here, put on this dress, and you're gonna hand this wrap to Jennifer Connelly."
I'd like to think she went on to a fabulous career as an original member of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Yes, somewhere. So,
Somewhere out there.
yeah, and this is that point in the script where you say to yourself, "Oh, Jenny's home free. She just missed getting squashed by Lothar, and she's out the front door. She actually makes it out the front door, and you're rooting for her, and you think, yeah, she's going to be fine once she gets to that the taxi guy. Somebody beat her to the taxi.
And somebody else got in that 37 Dodge.
Yeah, 20
Somebody
cents
who-
a mile.
That's
Somebody who looked like Stubby K from Guys and Dolls. I don't
Yeah.
think it was him.
Yeah,
Do you know if there are any? I'm going to guess there are probably some crew cameos in these crowd scenes. You had some very interesting faces.
Yeah, they all look like, I keep thinking some of them are ILM people, or we don't know who's who, and nobody has stepped up to point them out to us yet.
Yeah.
One can hope that maybe Mr. Johnston, in a fit of wanting to explain all the things that we've said wrong on this thing, he'll come and tell us what all these things are. So hopefully,
just once and for all.
Joe, if you're out there, let's talk. We're ready.
Now, I have a question which you guys probably have covered on a previous episode. For these exterior shots, you get a glimpse in the background of a great mid-century street scene. Do you know if that was the Disney studio or were they on another lot?
They're at the Disney Studios. From what I'm understanding, most of the outdoor scenes there, those night shots were from the Disney lot. There's
Okay.
some little city area. I think they have a very small. I have never been to the Disney lot, but from what I understand, they have a small cityscape. Most of the ones that I've seen used are usually at Warner Brothers or Paramount has that really nice one.
Right.
But this seems to be near Disney that they've shot it around it.
A quick aside, gentlemen. I've got the film open in Amazon's web player as well, and once in a while their X-ray feature will tell us a little something interesting that we don't necessarily get from anywhere else. I think this is just a mistake, but right around this time they show a close-up of the hat check girl and identify her as Taylor Gilbert, but give her a role as stewardess.
Yeah, Taylor Gilbert
So
would be the stewardess
she's the
that's
stewardess
on the
Trimotor.
Trimotor. Yeah.
And so I don't think that's the same person.
Yeah,
Unless-
although Tiny Ron did play two parts, so maybe
That's true.
she's...
Tiny Ron had 2 jobs in this movie.
And we have reached out to Taylor, and unfortunately, she seems to be too busy to be on our podcast. But Taylor, if you're open, we've got about 40 more episodes to go. So please, you have our emails.
Her
Always
loss.
welcome.
Because
Yeah.
we may have uncovered her secret extra cameo.
Double life, yeah.
That may be the case.
Yeah,
if it's not true, then that's an Amazon issue.
Yeah.
Let's just say it is.
Okay.
And see if anyone will challenge us on that. We're
It could
drawing
be.
the line in
We'll-
the sand.
We'll find out. This is any idea what that convertible is that's driving off in the distance as Jenny misses her spot? I do not know what
I don't know
that.
if I get enough of a good look at it. Let me see here.
Beautiful. It's got like a little picnic basket on the back. and
Oh, right.
Just a stunner of a car. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, let me squint at it for a moment. Now it's your turn. You guys chat amongst yourselves.
okay.
No, I'm going to say it's a Stutz Bearcat with a sheepdog in the back
With
seat.
a sheepdog.
Sounds good. Why not?
This is a
It's
Disney movie. There is
Yeah.
the obligatory sheepdog.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no Dean Jones though. I was so hoping the Dean Jones would show up here. It's
Oh,
not
if
quite
only.
a live action. Yeah,
If only.
and VWs were still on the scene. They could have had an early VW, especially with the Germans around. So
Yeah, that's true.
had their
Yeah,
chance
the
in Muff.
KDF wagon would have been popular at this point.
Yeah.
Not in the U.S., but hey, you can bring one over. Bring it
I
bring it
noticed-
over on the Zeppelin.
I noticed across the street is the Hollywood Theater. No, Hollywood Playhouse, having a show of Having a Wonderful Time. Don't know if that's real or not, but that might be another thing to look up while you're out there on the Google.
Oh, I think I've heard of that movie. Having a Wonderful Time, 1938. Quick to the IMDb polls.
Even as we talk about it, Ginger Rogers. tries to get over love affair turned sour by vacationing at a summer mountain resort. She pretends to be more cultured and sophisticated than she really is, but her act is challenged by a handsome waiter named Chick, played by none other than Douglas Fairbanks Jr.
Wow.
Another great Hollywood mustache there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Initial release July 1st. It says fifth big week, so that maybe they haven't updated, or maybe this is a second run movie house.
Yeah, it carried over.
It being October 15th, it's carried over 2 quarters just about.
Stunning hit.
Also starring Lucille Ball and Red Skelton and Eve Arden. So quite a comedy cavalcade across the street there. And all these people decided to go see and be seen. They wanted to be there for Clark Gable and W.C. Fields and of course, number 3's box office, Neville Sinclair.
Also known as the number 3 Joik. Just to be clear. So interesting, too, the theater marquee has popular prices.
Yeah.
So it's 25 cents and 50 cents. Is that what that says?
That doesn't sound very popular to me. I would think that it would be a nickel. Well, they are downtown. They're in the...
So... and it's all really tough to read what those numbers actually are. It could be quite a bit less than that.
I was trying to see what the there's a convertible. There's a yellow convertible. It looks like a Lincoln, kind of a cream color.
Oh yeah, that you see off
blur.
to the as Jenny's going for the cab, and we see it off the right side of the frame.
Yeah,
it does look like
almost has the back of a coffin nose cord, but I can't tell
that was the other thing I was thinking too. Is
topper fame
with that color. It's a very cord color.
Would have been the right year, 238, but so many things to look at. And of course, they never came out with a special edition of this, so it's one of those things that we'll just have to leave to our expert advisors.
Hey, we are the special edition.
Yeah, that's right.
Say, Jim, did I ever tell you my coffin nose cord story?
No, but I'm sure you can tell us right now.
Of course, it doesn't involve me at all. It involves my great uncle Harry, who just celebrated his 91st birthday. But this is 1936, 1937. He is in downtown Los Angeles. He is admiring a beautiful coffin nose cord, and he's just looking at the car. And who should get into the car and drive off but Amelia Earhart?
Oh, my goodness. Are you
Whoa.
serious?
Yeah. So he had a brief... I think he was too much shock to say hello, but he saw Amelia Earhart get into her car, and then, this might have been 37, so she might have been on her way to meet Fred Noonan.
Yeah.
Or somebody like that. He was a teenager at the time, and he was just focused on the car, thinking, oh my, what a beautiful car. And then, actually, I remembered one point. This is in the days where your registration would be on the windshield.
Right.
So he saw it belonged to an A. Earhart, and he figured, well, that's funny. There's all what a coincidence. So he did stick around, and she did come out of whatever building it was in downtown L.A. So, and it was a coffin nose cord. Huh. That's all I got. See you later.
No, it sounds good. It was a wonderful story, and you told it well.
Thank you. I tried.
That is amazing. I'm still reeling from the third act. So, well done.
We go from the taxi stand to the jungle surrounding the big fish fountain. We never do really get a good look at the big fish. It's at the top of that fountain, but they studiously avoid it in close up. And
good point. We always sort of shoot around it, don't they?
Yeah, it is a big fish, and they miss it about as much as Cliff misses that Lothar is walking down the stairs, Herman Munster style.
Right. They didn't show the big fish because it had to do with SAG.
Yeah, probably.
The fish didn't have a SAG card, so they just filmed around the fish, and they would have had to pay the fish extras. So.
Yes, it didn't have any fishing lines, so it was just one of those things.
Oh, man.
Hey, set him up, I'll knock him down. It's okay.
Oh. He just thought of that. Give him credit.
Yeah, it's right off the cuff. I'm just watching this thing.
Zing.
Spectacular.
I do. My favorite part of this entire minute is watching Billy Campbell's hair rearrange itself on his head as he bumps into Lothar. His hair actually changes the part. It just goes, he's parted in the middle, and then he's parted on the left.
Lothar is just that solid.
Yeah, he's like, he hits him with his barber chest.
Now that sounds like something a character would say in The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
I'll hit you so hard, I'll part your hair.
Put a new part in your hair.
Yeah, see?
Now scram.
Just a great double take by Mr. Campbell after he bumps into Lothar. Just that,
Yeah, that almost, if it were on a Warner Brothers cartoon, you'd be hearing the obly, obly, obly.
Yeah.
Just a perfect Looney Tunes type moment. It's interesting how quickly he reacts and how fast people keep dancing. It's like, just because this 7-foot tall lumbering guy is heading right toward us. Oh, let's just let the band play on.
Well, it's interesting too, Jim. You taught Billy and I a word, and you did such a good job teaching it that I've forgotten it. But we were talking about music, whether it's in the scene or out of the scene.
Oh, diegetic or non-diegetic.
Yes. So in this case, we're the score is coming up, and we've got some tension and some chase music getting set up, and everybody's dancing. But to what?
Yeah.
They're not dancing to the score because that would make no sense because they can't hear it. Only we can.
Yeah, they're dancing to hopefully still night and day.
Right, hopefully it's still going, but interesting that suddenly we can't hear what's in the scene anymore musically. So the music here is non-diegetic?
Yeah, the Horner music the Horner music is non-diegetic. The score itself is diegetic. Diegetic meaning being in this. There is a source of the music in the scene.
Right.
Like when we're listening to Begin the Begin, for example. Yeah.
Movie by minute podcasts. They're educational.
Yes, they are.
You learn a lot.
Now,
and now 80% less diegetic.
One of the things that I'm noticing as we come toward the end of the minute here is when Neville grabs Mike and Spanish Johnny and he turns them to face, go look at this thing. That is almost a spot-on lift from the 1980 movie Flash Gordon, where Clytus is explaining that Flash is fighting his men like it's a football game. And he was trying to explain to him what the role of football was. And that just seems, if you know the movie Flash Gordon, you probably can identify that same scene, only just picture instead of Timothy Dalton, it's Clytus. Anyway, that's my thought on the whole thing.
I suppose maybe he really wanted to do that scene in 1980.
Yes.
And they wouldn't let him.
And now 11 years later, he gets his due.
He was too busy. Was it Arborea? Or was he king of? Prince Baron of Arborea.
Baron of Arborea,
Yeah. So he just remembered, he goes, I know what we can do. We can do it like that. Clifford is Sam J. Jones. I look forward. Someday somebody's going to do a Flash Gordon minute. I think it's due. It really is due.
It may be overdue.
We've talked about this on other occasions, and I keep thinking any movie that has Porkins in it has got to be worth doing it at a minute by minute level.
Oh, is Hootkins in that one?
Yeah. Hootkins is Dr. Zarkov's assistant. Benson, why are you running? Come back! And he's like holding a gun on him.
Man, a short but illustrious career.
Yeah, always memorable.
William.
That's just what the Hebrews thought. So anyway, wrong movie.
Wrong movie, wrong podcast.
Yes.
Can I say something at this point? This minute, just overall, really enjoying the cinematography and the very old-fashioned composition of the shots: close up, wide shot, slow pan. I think you guys have mentioned this before, but this has the feel of an old movie. Joe Johnston just totally nails that classic Hollywood kind of look to the movie. I mean, this could have been, this whole sequence looks like something, say, from a movie from the 50s or a Technicolor feature from the 30s. And
one of the things you can do, and I have done it before in watching it, turn off the color, and it's amazing. It suddenly turns into this noir feature.
Yeah,
that works just fine without the colors.
Yeah, I did that once with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Same
that
thing.
Would work well.
And testimony to the great cinematographer Hiro Narita.
Yes, he really knows how to sell it. I mean, how we interpret. We all know the shorthand of movies of this type, so it really plays on that part of the brain that we're not actively thinking about, but you get in a mood, you get in a feeling about this whole thing, and the sound, the editing, the composition, it just really all feeds on itself.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, this is a pretty action-packed little sequence here. Characters are coming and going, but there's a pace. There's almost a beat here that the scenes are still allowed to breathe. You don't have the the modern
no steady cams and no
steady cams, right. No shaky cams. Just
no camera locked on the end of a pole looking at a character. It really, like you said, it just has that whole shorthand feel that what this looks like, what it's supposed to look like, and it does. You could easily see, the old baddies from, you could picture Rondo Hatton because there he is, but you can picture, like, I don't think I'd put.
I got one. Laird Craigar. Apparently, he was a very, very heavy set. Kind of a B movie, Sidney Greenstreet, or Tech Sidney Greenstreet.
Yeah, Sidney Greenstreet could easily be. He could actually. I would put him as Eddie Valentine.
Nice.
Or and Now that would be interesting. Recast this from the 40s. Who would you
Oh.
put and where? I mean,
Here we go. Got an hour?
Who
gonna
would be
say.
Jenny? Who would be your Jenny?
Joan Bennett.
I would have picked Myrna Loy,
Myrna Loy's good,
Yeah,
but
the
but
it girl.
but not as Zoftig enough. You know,
Yeah,
she
but-
needs to be a little
but-
bit more.
but who would but Jenny's holding Myrna Loy's grapes, so
That's true,
so
yeah.
is Myrna Loy. How about as Eddie Valentine, Brian Donlevy, a favorite of mine?
Ooh,
Yeah.
intrigue. How about Peavy? Who would you put for Peavy?
Who would I put for Peavy?
Gleason. What's his name? Not
Jackie?
James Gleason.
James.
James
yes.
Gleason. James
There you go.
Gleason.
James Gleason.
Or no,
would be
James
good.
Gleason. No, James Gleason would be one of the FBI guys.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. How about for Peavy? Think this is 1930s, not 1940s.
Yeah.
And I just forgot his name. Wait a minute. Wait. Walter Houston.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. I'm thinking.
but you got a better one. Go.
I'm thinking. No, I'm thinking with the FBI guys. One would be James Gleason. The other would be William Demarest.
Boom.
Or William Demarest would be Bigelow.
Ooh.
I could see
William
William
Demarest,
Demarest
that
as
would be cool.
Bigelow.
Nice. Or yeah. I mean, we're Gonzville here.
Yeah.
We've gone to the Twilight Zone.
Gosh, Ronald Coleman as I mean, the thing here would be Douglas Fairbanks. You'd say okay, or Errol Flynn. You'd say Errol Flynn is Neville, but going against that, who would be playing an Errol Flynn type?
Well, he's sorry I got all tongue tied, but one of my favorite actors from the era, Basil Rathbone. He doesn't
Yeah.
quite have the
Well, he's
the
opposite.
charm.
Yeah,
But,
and that's it. But no, but that's it. I mean, if you think of the Sheriff of Nottingham, he's perfect for it.
Or
And for
sorry,
that matter,
Jim.
I'm sorry. I was thinking Olivia de Havilland could easily play Jenny.
Olivia de Havilland's a good choice. You know who we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, who did play a couple of bad guys in the late 30s. I'm thinking Prisoner of Zenda, but that would be Douglas Fairbanks Jr. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
he could also be a good Neville. But and this brings me to a little story. Who would play Cliff in 1938? Tyrone Power.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I
could
could
see
see
that.
that.
Okay, yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see
that
that.
would work.
Yeah, when I was reading the comics in the early 80s and before I knew what Dave Stevens looked like, I thought, oh, hey, he based Cliff on Tyrone Power. I thought he looked like Tyrone Power. Then I saw what Mr. Stevens looked like. I was like, oh, he could be the son of Tyrone Power. So,
We are reaching the point where, I mean, we've seen Peter Cushing come back to life and act for us now. Right. And I'm just thinking eventually there will be movies that are set in the 30s that will bring, you'll see another Bogart movie. You'll see another Capra movie. You'll see Jimmy Stewart again. You'll see Lionel Barrymore again. All these characters. It's just a matter of working. And as we were talking the other day with Ron Fields, you'll probably see a W.C. Fields character.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, really.
Good.
It just, the scary thing is that we have the writers to support it. I wouldn't mind another Capra-esque movie, but I don't know who could write something like that.
And would they be better served writing their own movie rather than
Yeah.
writing something Capra-esque?
because you can use CGI to bring back Jimmy Stewart, but you can't use CGI to bring back Dalton Trumbull in his scripts.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, Robert Riskin, or it
Yeah.
just,
And I think
well,
when AI gets that advanced, I think we will have already been enslaved, and they won't be making movies for us anymore.
Yeah.
no,
I think
it'd
when
be
it's investments
suffering
around
under
it.
suffering
So-
under Skynet or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
Meanwhile, if we thought we lost the audience with Artie Johnson,
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
Tyrone who?
So,
Olivia de
yeah,
what?
yeah,
And
go back
before we get away from this completely, I just want to throw out there, I'm stuck on this now, as I don't think it's a good idea, but as soon as I thought of it, I've been picturing how different the movie would be, of course, period movie in 38. What if we had Margaret Hamilton as Millie?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I would have gone with Ma Kettle, but hey,
Well, yeah, Ma Kettle is
yeah.
kind of low-hanging fruit, but Margaret Hamilton would have this, she could have, I don't know how old Margot Martindale would have been in this film. You get the sense that she's everybody's sort of 40-something aunt, and Margaret Hamilton would have been a little bit younger, but of course, with a year later, after 38 with The Wizard of Oz, she seems, I always assumed the Wicked Witch of the West was, this sort of scary old crone, but I think she was only 37 when that movie came out.
yeah. Who was the Wicked Witch that was originally? I can't remember her name. She had like a Swedish name, and she was rather more looking like Sleeping Beauty's nemesis.
Was that Ona Munson?
No, I want to say Sonnenfeld. It's terrible when you think of something and you don't know the name for it.
I do it
She
all the
was,
time. That's the story of my life.
I will. If I keep talking amongst yourselves.
Gail Sondergaard.
There you go, Gail
Oh.
Sondergaard.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
It was right on the tip of my internet.
You could rewrite this whole thing a different way. Rather than having Neville Sinclair, you could have Gail Sundergaard as the evil Nazi temptress, and having her going after Clifford. Of course, that would have been Rocketeer Part 2.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to remember a B movie. I think it was in the 40s with Gail Sondergaard, and she's done up as sort of a dragon lady kind of a character. I'll find a picture and I'll post it on the bulletin board of the Bulldog Cafe. But yeah, Gail Sondergaard, great evil character actress.
Yeah, you just look at her and just, she's the bad girl.
Yeah, and she had one of those careers that went on forever. I remember in the 80s watching a guilty pleasure of mine at the time, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors.
Oh yeah.
And she was the bad guy, or she was the evil octogenarian femme fatale in an episode of The Fall Guy.
No kidding. Wow. I just watched a few of those not too long ago. And then once I got past wait a minute, Lee Majors sings?
Yeah.
for that opening theme. That's yeah. Although his singing that theme, I think, is a lot better than Chuck Norris singing Walker, Texas Ranger.
Ooh.
And even though I know now that I will be visited in the night by the fist of Norris, but putting that out.
Now, because Norris, he talks through that. It's that bad kind of Texas
and he
Rex
sings
Harrison.
though. There's
he's a Texas Rex
singing,
Harrison.
and it's double tracked, and it's just not the best thing ever.
Yeah, you better check under your bed for Chuck Norris tonight.
I know.
Now, all you have to do is watch the first 15 minutes of Lone Wolf McQuade, and all will be forgiven.
Yeah.
Love that one. That's for the record, that's my favorite Chuck Norris movie. But
noted and logged.
That will get me nowhere.
Jim, I love that he thinks there's a record.
Yeah. No, this is all on MP3. Don't worry. I do. So I think a special Oscar should go to Billy Campbell's hair, as it just seems to be flying everywhere. As we're leaving this minute, we just get to watch. It looks like the letter M just flapping in the breeze as he's running in between the dancers and such.
That's true. Superman had his comma, little hair comma that came down, but Chris
got like
Secord
a
has a capital M.
Yeah, but he just obviously this is where mayhem is ensuing. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One thought that occurred to me, this could have been a joke that they cut out of or ended up on the cutting room floor. You have Lothar chasing Cliff around the nightclub. Does somebody say, "Oh, that's a funny act"?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I was at the South Seas Club. They had this great new act. A big guy chases a bigger guy. A bigger guy chases a smaller, bigger guy, and
it all seems like something that the Three Stooges live stage show would be. Oh, there we go. I know that guy. Wasn't he? With the Ritz brothers. But I guess all the flames and things that are about to ensue are not.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
I forgot about that part.
That's a further minute. Right now, it's all just fun and games until somebody sets fire to an oyster shell on the wall. But that'll be at a later minute. Brett, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been an epic time, and
it is absolute treat for me. Love this movie and love what you guys are doing with it. And if there's any justice, if they ever do the commentary or do release a Blu-ray or a DVD with a commentary, you guys should get the job.
Hopefully, we'll see.
That would be a hoot.
If you
guys
talk to any
have
of the folks
earned
at
it.
Disney, please let us know. I appreciate that very much.
I own 4 shares of Disney stock.
Well,
I'm going to make it happen.
We'll have to check the market tomorrow and see if this particular episode has pushed everything up. But hopefully it will be. Please, folks, if you haven't been to 5 Minutes of Trouble out there at it's 5minutesoftrouble.com, right? Isn't that where people are going?
Yeah, we are at 5minutesoftrouble.com. It's a radical departure. We do the movie in 5-minute increments. We've had some people complain of time-space dilation. We did have one guest who sort of aged about 80 years at the end of the episode. We still can't figure out what we did wrong. But there is danger.
Did their fingernails grow out? Did they?
Nah, she just ended up looking like the female astronaut at the beginning of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, darn.
It was a bummer. But, these are the risks of Movie Minute podcasting. We don't like talking about it.
No, but it's in the can. People can enjoy this in one monster binge. That's the best part. It's the best part. It's not you don't have to wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's already here. But you also have a radio script show as well.
Yes. I'm real excited about this. It's a show produced by a good friend of mine, Amy Pavey. It's called 12 Chimes. It's Midnight, and it's a throwback to the tongue twisters of the 1930s, the suspense thrillers of the 1930s and 40s, the Lights Out and the Inner Sanctums, the audio predecessors to the Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And we did a short first season of 5 episodes. My podcasting partner Josh Horowitz got involved. He's the announcer for the show. He's positively ghouly. It's wonderful. Yeah, and we got a second season that we're working on as we speak. We're writing episodes. We're performing in episodes. And instead of talking about stories, we're in the stories.
Wow. Well, it's a logical next step.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a gas, and just trying to recapture the nuances and some of the conventions of these, especially the 1930s radio melodramas. So please give us a listen. 12 Chimes, it's midnight.
And it's wonderful how podcasting has kind of resurrected the audio format. People listen in their cars, listen on their treadmills, listen out in the woods. It's amazing how much time people have found to do these things. They can do this without having to stop and watch a big screen.
It's healthy for me because dealing with Bay Area traffic every day, listening to your soothing voices is a lot better for my psyche.
Well, we appreciate being your calm before the storm of facing the world. But
we will be your happy
thanks
place.
For listening. Take me away. We're like Calgon in headphones.
Oh.
So
we'll explain that one next
all the
episode.
soapy residue. Yes, next time. Tune in tomorrow, kids. But for those who'd like to join us on our little social media conversations, we are available at a multitude of social media media. You can find us on Twitter at Rocketeer Minute. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Rocketeer Minute. And, of course, the great big site, say it along with me, rocketeerminute.com, where you can pick up every previous episode, and every future episode that we're ever going to make is going to be on there, too. So keep checking back on that. Or you don't even have to check on it. Just go to iTunes or Google Play, type in Rocketeer Minute. When our name comes up, click on it and hit subscribe, and boom, every morning, actually the night before, Monday through Friday, you'll get us delivered hot and fresh with a brand new episode every day. So check back on all those opportunities. We will see you here tomorrow as we watch more mayhem in Panic in the... Well, it's not a disco. It's Panic in the Big Band era. Clarinets a Twitter. But we'll be here tomorrow on the Rocketeer Minute. So until next time, over and out.